a group of youth ensembles and youth orchestras from California, Florida, and the Carolinas.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, forever waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's stream, and today we are going to see a beautiful launch of Sentinel-6 on top of Falcon 9 Block 5 rocket, the legendary SpaceX rocket. The satellite is a Earth observation satellite that will monitor the rise in the ocean level, and it is named after a NASA scientist who devoted his whole career to the climate change and rise in ocean, Michael Freilich. So the satellite is totally named like Sentinel-6 Michael Freilich, and is scheduled to launch at 10:37 p.m. IST and 5:17 PST. So in just 10 minutes we can expect the launch of Falcon 9 Block 5, and it will land at the same launch site, that is Vandenberg landing zone 4, and here's the booster. It is currently fueling up.
And it's so great to see all the kids playing.
So let's know about this mission. Actually, this mission is a very legendary mission for SpaceX, because this is the third consecutive time since October 2017 that Falcon 9 flight have been on a new booster. Like the last flight was of Demo 2, that was on a new booster, and today also it's just a consecutive flight. It's just the next launch after Crew 1, and this is also a new booster, that is B1063.1, and this is the 99th Falcon 9 launch. The Falcon 9 here means all the Falcon 9 family. It is the 43rd launch of Falcon 9 Block 5 version. This is the 100th mission, 100th Falcon 9 mission. If you consider all the mission carried out, even failure, then it is 100, and if you consider the launch, then it's 79 successful launch, and 108th mission of the SpaceX. They will be landing on the fourth landing zone at the Vandenberg, and 16th consecutive landing if it all goes right, then 16th booster to land correctly.
But first stage actually does a flip maneuver, so it continues to gain altitude and actually does kind of like a backflip. And then we have 3 burns that it does. So when it's doing that backflip, it does the boost back burn, which is 3 of the.
So if you have any questions, you can ask directly in the live chat section. I will answer. I will try to answer.
Down as it enters back into the Earth's atmosphere, and then it comes back down and lands with just one single engine for the final landing burn.
It is the neatest thing to see in person, and it is loud. There's a big sonic boom.
Loud. Oh, yeah.
You have to even like warn the local residents that it's happening.
Oh yeah.
we want to actually share a special question with you right now. There is a young man, an 8-year-old named Parv. He contacted NASA and shared this picture with it. We want to put it up on the screen. He made a rangoli. This is a traditional decoration for Diwali made of sand, rice powder, and or flower petals in the shape of a rocket. You see it there? There's Parv.
So beautiful.
He's got his little SpaceX
so
shirt on. You
excited.
see that? So they're here for the launch. They're watching. And his question to you, Jessica, is how do NASA and SpaceX achieve the pinpoint accuracy they need to launch?
Oh man, a lot of hard work to sum it up. But there's a number of things, we have to calculate, the orbital mechanics for how to get the satellite into space, but there's tons of sensors and guidance navigation control system on the vehicle. The vehicle is completely autonomous. So as you know, the vehicle is moving so fast, human reaction is not quick enough to guide it. So we actually have it autonomously programmed to make sure that it does everything that we need it to do.
It's amazing, and you guys have gotten so good at it lately. So we're looking forward to that part of it. Jessica Anderson from SpaceX, thanks you so much. You're going to stick around because for the landing, we're going to have you back out, and we're going to enjoy it together.
Yes, I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
All right, fantastic. Thank you, Jessica.
And now we're about T-minus 7 minutes until liftoff of Sentinel-6 Michael Freilich on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket.
That's right. The moment is upon us. We're going to hand it over to Joshua Santora and Philip Hargrove for the countdown to launch. Guys, take it away.
Hey, thanks so much. It's been an active...
So talking about the previous mission, I wasn't able to stream on the US first operational crewed flight. It was a very great mission. Watching all those 4 astronauts, including Mike Hopkins, Shan Walker, Victor Glover, and Soichi Noguchi, riding on the Dragon capsule and going to the International Space Station, was really a fantastic moment. And I hope that they will have a great time there. It was the first flight of Victor Glover, so definitely he will enjoy his first flight to space. So we are just T-minus 5 minutes from launch. Rocket is in venting mode. I like the Block 5 version more than the other full first or the version V 1.1. I like the black colors of second stage and the landing legs. Sorry, interstage.
provides power, fluids, and communication for the rocket up until the time of liftoff, when it will tilt back even further away from the rocket. So keep your eyes on that. But Philip, I wanted to have you tell us about the...
Okay, so we have a question from Rashi. How many types of rocket engines are there? There are various types of rocket engine. They are divided into various categories like the solid rocket, liquid rocket, the nuclear rocket, and electric rocket, and there are more theoretical rockets, but these four are on practical. And the most famous is the liquid rocket, which is in front of you, the Falcon 9, and most of the rockets have a liquid stage, and always the second stage, or the stage that works in vacuum, is always liquid stage. Liquid stage has liquid fuel, mostly liquid oxygen or RP1 rocket grade kerosene, and solid rocket motors has solid fuel. Mostly, if we talk about the space shuttle, they had aluminum fuel, and it was a mixture of various fuel, but aluminum was the major. And then we have electrical, electric and nuclear. These both don't have much power, so they are used as reaction control thrusters or altitude control thrusters, and sometimes they are used to provide additional thrust in the vacuum, because in vacuum the amount of thrust is not necessary if it is working for a very long period. So if it is giving just 1 Newton of force for around 1 month, then that's a very great thing. So electric propulsion basically works by sending heat from generated by the electricity to the working fluid, and then it is released as a mix. Then it is released by the thermodynamic principle of gas flow, and then passed through a supersonic nozzle. So the thrust generated is quite low, but in vacuum that's very high amount of thrust. And then in nuclear, all the radioactive elements like uranium and plutonium, they are kept away from the working fluid, and then their heat is transferred to the working fluid, and then by that heat the fluid burns and it is expelled by the same thermodynamic principle and is exited, and they exit through the supersonic nozzle. And so mainly these four types of rocket engines are there, and these four have been tested, and most of them are currently used. Like liquid one, it's the all-time famous, comparing Saturn V, the Space Shuttle Orbiter. All of them used a liquid stage. Even the Atlas V, it also has a liquid core stage. Now let's switch to mission control because it's only T minus 30 seconds. If you have any other question, you can ask in the live chat section.
Of the vibration of the sound to actually be suppressed, and it also helps with some cooling as well.
Falcon 9 is configured for flight. T-minus 15.
T-minus 15 seconds.
10.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Sound
1,
suppression system is on.
0. And
We have
liftoff
liftoff.
of Sentinel-6 Michael Freilich, continuing a legacy of ocean observation and international collaboration to benefit all humanity.
M1D propulsion is nominal.
The rocket looks amazing from this.
Power and telemetry nominal.
So that's the Vandenberg Air Force Base. Falcon 9 heading into space.
Vehicle is supersonic.
So the vehicle supersonic means that the vehicle has broken the sound barrier, and at the time it broke the sound barrier, it is on max Q, the maximum dynamic pressure. It is the maximum load on the vehicle.
So there we heard that call for max Q. We also heard vehicle is supersonic, meaning it's traveling faster than the speed of sound. A beautiful shot there from the first stage looking down towards Earth and seeing the plume there created by those 9 Merlin 1D engines.
Merlin engines are amazing. I don't know any more powerful engine than that that can fly without the need of a solid rocket. Actually, R-25 was also amazing, but the only thing was that it used the solid rocket boosters. But Merlin is just fantastic.
Beautiful clear skies there from Vandenberg on the ground. Able to track with that rocket as you see it on screen now. Just a reminder, coming up here very quickly, we're going to hear booster or first stage engine cutoff.
Stage separation confirmed.
Also, we have
Booster
stage
separation is there
separation
visible on screen now. Beautiful shot.
and second stage ignition.
There's the backflip, as Jesse mentioned, beginning with the Falcon booster.
Stage 1 boost up burn is started.
So the booster will
And
now
that second
return.
engine looks like it has lit. You can start to see the engine bell there turning.
So the booster will now return to its launch site and will land on the landing zone 4 forward. And fairing separation is also confirmed. So the payload is now in the emptiness of space, or the harsh environment of space. Now many people have a question that why does after liftoff the first stage engines first gets outwards, like you just saw a few minutes ago. It's basically because the engine that is in the first stage is designed to work in the Earth's atmosphere. So at Earth atmosphere we have the atmospheric pressure. So the engine nozzle is quite small as compared to the second stage. If anybody would have seen the Raptor engine, the SpaceX Advance engine that will be used in the Starship, the first stage engines are relatively largely small as compared to the second stage, mainly because on Earth, on the Earth's surface, we have atmospheric pressure, so we don't need a large nozzle, because if we make large nozzle, we will not get the full amount of thrust we need. Much percentage of the thrust will get wasted. So on Earth, we use a small nozzle to generate high amount of thrust, but when the atmospheric pressure gets low, that nozzle doesn't provide much thrust, because now the atmospheric pressure has gone, so you need a bigger nozzle. So the second stage engine is just nothing less than a wider nozzle, which converges all the exhaust gas in just one place.
Planning out for years. We know what the math looks like, we know what the numbers are, but actually seeing these views from the second stage is just amazing.
Yeah, very good. And we'll talk more about kind of your role and what you do as a trajectory analyst. You are, by all accounts, a rocket scientist, which is pretty cool. We will come back and chat more in a bit. Again, we'll revisit you once we get towards that second stage, second burn. But for now, I think we're ready to head back out to check in with Daryl and Jesse to hopefully enjoy
nominal trajectories.
what I would expect to be a beautiful, very noisy nominal landing of that booster. Daryl, how was launch? How did it look out there? All right, we're going to hang off. They're not quite ready yet. I'm sure they're just enjoying it. They probably got up to watch that launch, and they're probably getting positioned again. So I don't blame them.
Me neither. Yeah, they should definitely soak it in.
So that second stage Merlin vacuum engine, MVAC as we like to call it, that produces around 210,000 pounds.
Shortly we'll have the landing of the first stage.
Entry burn has started.
All right,
Entry burn has started, so which means we are just half a minute away from landing.
How was launch?
Oh my goodness!
It's incredible.
It was incredible.
That's why we're late. We're all talking at the same time. It's great. Can you tell that we were excited? We were standing there. We saw it. It was so clear we could see the.
So entry burn has now completed, and
Jesse,
I think in just 1 minute we will have landing. It is heading toward landing zone 4 at the Vandenberg Air Force Base.
Booster coming back. It's got its grid fins out, and that's helpful. It has to use those.
Shortly we'll have the landing burn that will slow down the vehicle for landing, and that's what makes Falcon 9 special. It's propulsive landing. So here the ground camera.
So we're not going to see that first boost back, but we have a clear shot of it coming down onto the pad.
It really looks amazing. Oh, that was just amazing. Sudden change and landing burn has now begun.
Here it comes. There it is. Coming in at an angle and just straightening out.
And there's the landing zone 4.
Jesse, that's amazing.
I might cry right now.
Now we'll have landing legs deploy. The grid fins are working amazingly.
So perfectly. Just hovering.
Ah,
There's the sonic booms we talked about and touchdown.
and we have a successful landing. It looks amazing, definitely. The booster has returned to Earth from its very first flight, and the landing was definitely amazing one. I hadn't seen any landing like the booster is coming and suddenly changing its path towards the landing zone. It was just mind-blowing.
Incredible. Like, as many launches as I've seen, seeing it in person is a whole different experience.
The crowd that's with us, you can hear them cheering and everything. They're just totally like, you know, in awe. We're so glad that we could do this and have you
Okay,
join
so
us.
we have a
This is
question
Jesse
again.
Anderson from SpaceX.
Actually, 3 questions.
Thanks so much for coming out here. What a moment.
What is the difference between a turbine feed and pressure feed engine? So the turbine feed engines are those engines, mostly turbine feed engines are used in a single engine rocket. They work by firstly sending the fuel to a turbine. The turbine converts it into steam and then pushes it back to the fuel tank so that the fuel can flow towards the engine, because when after the liftoff, the gravity gets the force of gravity gets lower and lower. So if there is no pressure on fuel, then sometimes fuel will not reach the engine, and that will result to a shutdown. And many engines don't have the reignitable capability, so it's necessary to keep the engines running. So turbine feed engines basically take the fuel, make it vapor, send it back to the engine, then the propellant is sent down, and that vapor is not wasted. That vapor is also burned later. From if you see the first version of Merlin engine, it had the main nozzle and a secondary nozzle just near it. So the secondary nozzle burned the vapor fuel. And pressure feed engine. So the pressure feed engines are just basically those engines that have a separate gas tank to press the fuel down towards the engine. Like most of the rockets that have multiple engines use the pressure feed system. They have an external gas tank that is attached just between or above the liquid oxygen tank, and it sends a pressured gas, mainly nitrogen, and to IP1 and liquid oxygen, so that it continues running towards the engine, and it is not used again because we can't burn nitrogen or any other gas. Okay, one more question. Good. One more question. Okay, so now I understood. So we don't see any liquid, any chemtrails from a liquid fuel engine because it has liquid oxygen as oxidizer, and we all know there are some types of multiple burns like incomplete burn, complete burn, and so these two, I think. Actually, I'm very bad at chemistry. So incomplete, and most of the burns that occur in our every day-to-day life is incomplete burn, and it produces smoke. And the rocket also produces smoke, but the thing is that it also uses liquid oxygen. So as an oxidizer, it helps to make a complete burn, and because of that, there is no exhaust gas. And there are exhaust gas if you look from a camera directly in front of sun, then you can see that there are some exhaust gas, but directly you could not see. All the amount of gases that are produced is just on the ground just before liftoff, because at that time, for I think 5 3 to 2 seconds, there is an incomplete burn, but after that everything is complete. And when the rocket approaches the Earth's upper atmosphere, it is very cold place, but rocket engines are very hot. So just the airplane thing here, the cold air mixes with hot engine exhaust and then vapor. And the last question I have is, stop all the pollution we make today to stop climate change with Earth be habitable forever? No, Earth can't be habitable forever. It's just that nothing is forever. So if we stop all the pollution we make today and stop climate change, even after that Earth will die soon. If you take cosmic calendar into hands, then Earth will die soon. But as the calendars we use in our home, that day is very far. So the ending of Earth, if there is no pollution, that ending will be made by sun itself, because sun is undergoing a nuclear fusion reaction, fusion or fission, I don't remember, but the sun's heat is always increasing, and because of that the increasing heat, the habitable zone of the sun is gradually getting farther and farther away. We know that earlier the habitable zone was near Venus, and Earth was also there, but Venus was also in that zone at the very beginning, and at that place it shifted later. So after the habitable zone shifted towards Earth, Venus was out of the habitable zone, and the temperature was always increasing. Venus had water, flowing water on its surface, and because of the continuous heat of sun and gradual increasing heating of sun, that water turned into vapor, and that vapor covered all the atmosphere. And now we all know that Venus is just hell. You can't go at Venus. Like all the space probe that lands at Venus are not functional for a very long time. Actually, not many space probe have landed there, but the Venera lander landed on the Venus surface, and it was only able to work for around 10 to 15 minutes, and after that it just got switched off because of the intense heat of Venus. So it will also happen with Earth, because the habitable zone is farther away, and I think after 3 crore years or 300 million years, Earth will be out of the habitable zone, and because of all that heat the sun will generate, Earth's water will also evaporate. Every species will die, and the heat will get so high that all the rocks will start melting. So it will be just like a volcano.
Use the Sentinel-6 hashtag on the European Space Agency or ESA's social media platforms.
satellite was renamed after American oceanographer Michael Freilich, who led NASA's Earth Science Division.
So now we will be ending the stream. The launch has been concluded safely, and vehicle is in currently parking orbit. After around 45 minutes, yes, the vehicle will perform a second burn and then payload will separate. And here we have Michael Freilich. Michael, so yes, he is Michael Freilich.
The entire world is expecting great things from Sentinel-6, and I know that you will deliver. Go Sentinel-6.
Okay, so now signing off from the stream. Thank you for joining in the stream, and today I will not make any further announcement of which next launch we will be covering, but we will inform on our social media platform. We are a bit out of social media right now. There are many problems going on, but we'll be back soon. We are not here to end very soon. We'll play a long game. So thank you for joining in today's stream, and stay tuned on our social media platform for any further launches. We will inform on that about next stream. Thank you everyone, and I hope I have answered all the questions. So thank you.